Hey everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of Harmstead.
The revamp.
Now today's video is pretty cool if I have to say, and while we did build some homes, the focus was mainly environmental, so keep a sharp eye for that, really adding a lot of details to the plant life, some clutter, things like that, just like we did in episode 1. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the time lapse, and I'll get on with the video. Alright everybody, so I know that this is treading on repetitive material since we're rebuilding an already documented area, but I've really been having some discussions with my peers, and from what I can tell, everyone in the community seems pretty happy with the changes made to Harmstead. I won't go too much into the lore simply because it's already been laid out in prior episodes, but in case you haven't seen those episodes, because they're, maybe 7-8 months, a year old, something like that. The basic gist of this town is that a Daedric-ish entity controls the village by forcing them to sacrifice their material belongings, wealth, and even sometimes animals in order for the citizens to remain alive. Now, they are not zombies or mindless shells or husks by any means, but they have a never-ending fear planted in the back of their minds that is a constant reminder of their duties to this dark entity. On top of sacrificing all of that, like we said in the first episode, there is a strong medicinal plant that grows in the depths of this small little lake here, right? And what it does is it allows people to kind of heal back, though slowly, from what would typically be a mortal wound or deadly diseases. It doesn't fix every single thing in the world, however, it does help with major illnesses and major wounds. That is part of why Harmstead does receive the money and funds and trading that they do because they trade off with all the major cities. But once again, they don't really get to keep that because they have to give it to the deity, and that's just it. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now, also, just FYI, going back to the actual lore here, there are going to be a multitude of Daedric deities or entities scattered across the world, and each will have their own backstories and histories. Now, that is one of the greatest aspects of this project, is simply the world building, because I've noticed a lot of Minecrafters build these really amazing and detailed projects, but there's pretty much hardly any lore, if any at all. So that makes for an empty build regardless of how beautiful it can be. So this project is really aiming at changing that and really bringing a lore-heavy aspect to Minecraft. Just think of a hard RPG in Minecraft, like a true RPG style type of lore and history. That's what I'm going for. Now, Harmstead isn't a complicated area in terms of history. It's literally as simple as I stated before, but there are some secrets hidden in the depths of this area. Now, also, just as a little side note, I wanted to shout out a huge thank you to my Patreon subs and YouTube members who help support this channel. Your dedication and support means a ton to me, and I'm always thankful for having you here. Now, to those who watch these videos and aren't subscribed, definitely feel free to drop that sub to see more awesome content coming every week. Comment what you'd like to see, all that good stuff, typical YouTube whatnot. But that's pretty much all I have to say for now. So here's some music. I'll meet you again for the walkthrough, and we'll get on with some awesome detailing. Alright everybody, so I hope you enjoyed the music just like always in the time lapse, but as I'm sure you can see, this is episode 1 and where we left off here. You remember all the houses and everything we had and all this detail along the waterline. Now of course we have the second section over here to the left. Now we pretty much stopped right on this line. It was just a dead line of nothing else. So I decided to add 3 more houses, and then this work storage area, which I thought was really, really cool. Wasn't there before, but it definitely makes sense given that this is a fishing village. So Going on up this little pathway, you can see here we just have some small storage, a little bit of hay, a little bit of barrels, all the good stuff. And we're going to go in house number 1. And house number 1, once again, fitting in with the theme, is very cramped, very small. You have a small little kitchen area, just simply not for baking or anything, but for just housing goods, some, housing jars, things like that, to just kind of like pull it all together, really make it like actually have use with storage. And then going through this little wall here, we're gonna have the bedroom, and the bedroom's actually a little spacious. It's not too bad. We have 3 beds here, pretty simple and straightforward. A little bit of storage for clothing. This could be for like knickknacks, things like that, maybe like small wood carvings, just something to do in your spare time. And then of course, just like a simple broom and clothing chest, like just stuff like that. Very simple, very simple. However, there you have it. So this is house number 1. I mean, that's simple. Okay, we're just gonna move on to the next bit. Once you go down this path and you're gonna go to the storage area, there's actually 2 ways you can go. So you can take a left, and we have a plow, and we have some like this would be actually like a plow, not for cattle, but like for a person to drag, just to kind of do this little bit. Or they could get a hoe. It doesn't matter, whatever works. But there are definitely some plants here. These are a little bit of some medicinal plants that are local, not as extravagant as the ones in the water. However, it does still work. And then of course this is barley, but in this lore it's going to be just another medicinal plant. Okay. Then we have the actual like workshop, which this is like a mix between a workshop and a storage area. As you can see here, there's like an anvil, there's like pitchforks and brooms and things like that. There's just a little bit of everything, some composters, some hides, like a grinding wheel. Like it kind of has like a little bit of everything, and I think it really ties together a good spot where the community could put a lot of their things and have it in a safe spot that is guarded by everyone. Make sure that nobody can get to it. I just like this new block. It's kind of cool. And the new cart features as well. Definitely, we did the item frame trick again. That's an item frame. The cart's on the item frame. That's what makes it kind of crooked like that, but it looks really, really good. But yeah, look, I love the wood supports here. I think it looks really, really cool. It's definitely more realistic than I typically have my wood supports, and I think it really comes out well. I really like this. It looks true life. So we'll take that. And then of course on the side here, you're not really supposed to get back here, but of course if you can squeeze through, there's just some extra storage and things like that. Nothing too intense or anything like that, but I do like it. Now in the original episodes we did not have this rock wall. We have it now, just as a little barrier in case for whatever reason there's flooding. That's why everything's built up on either stone or just on a higher elevation, just like I say, in case the water goes up, you don't want your house underwater. So there you go. We know that all too well in modern society. But once again, we have these awesome reeds, cattails, stuff like that coming out of the water, more nets hanging out to dry. We have more carts, just like kind of like busy. I mean, like I said, this whole spot is just be a very busy area, and that's what I wanted it to be. And I'm really glad with the way it came out. But let's go into the second house. You can see here, it's built into the side, which I thought was really cool. And it just kind of really makes it flow a little bit better. So we're gonna go on in. And as you can see here, this is a nice basic little house. We got some bunk beds. We got Gwent again because, there's not too many decorated blocks for that. But it's still good. We have, of course, a small storage area, some herbs hanging up, some jams, a tea kettle with some cups, some ale, basic stuff. And then we're going to go up this ladder here. And this is where the adults sleep. You can see it's a tiny little cramped room. I mean, super small, but it really works out. 2 little beds, a chest, dressers. That's pretty much it. Like, most of these houses don't make use of the second story, so I decided to do that in this one to really kind of bring it together. I think it came out great. So we're going to go through here. We're going to close that trap door. In case anyone explores on the server, they'll have to find it. And yeah, like I said, cool house, nice supports. I really like the way it came out. There's a lot of depth in this tiny room, and I think it came out pretty nifty. We're going to go down these steps again. Of course, we have some firewood. We have the path that leads this way into nothingness because it hasn't been built yet. And then, of course, up here, we once again have some additional details. And we're going to have this nice diagonal house, which, of course, is fun because diagonal houses are always fun. But once again, bedroom, okay, simple enough. Storage areas, eating area, that's it. I mean, there's like, all these houses are very similar. However, they definitely do. I mean, I like them. I like this style. I like the simplistic way of doing things. So yeah, simple house. Everything's kind of all in one. Okay, and that's about that. But yeah, you could look here actually along the water line. I mean, we have a lot of detail here. I'm gonna add some more as well. But I just think it really comes together. The whole point of Harmstead is to just make it a beautiful area, just like it was originally. And I think it's definitely coming together. So, I mean, I think already we have 2 or 3 more structures than we did before, just in this one area, which really helps tie it together. But yeah, I mean, like, here's the overview. Okay, pretty simple enough. Like, I'm not gonna go like too far back because you won't be able to see it because of these trees. But yeah, it's like I said, it's really coming together. I think it looks really great. The community's helped out. We had Bird and Rames. They both kind of helped me out a little bit on this one, kind of giving me a smidge of like extra help and detailing and some ideas. We're just bouncing ideas back and forth from each other, and it just really works out amazingly well. And of course, the community loves seeing this kind of stuff. So as always, I really appreciate all of y'all watching the video. Thank you so much. If you have any ideas, definitely comment them below. Let me know. I always try to take feedback from the community, because without the community I wouldn't be here. So thank you so much for watching. As always, this is of course the legendary Porpoise signing off. I hope all of you have a good day, happy gaming, and I'll catch you again for the next one.